I'm here today to collect all achievements for Ori and the Will of the Wisp. The plan is to 100% the entire game, and I mean do literally everything, getting all achievements and 100% the whole entire thing. This is going to be an emotional roller coaster, and this game loves to test my patience. So without further ado, let's get going. So before I start, I want to break it down for y'all so it'll make it a little bit easier to, digest. Step 1. Beat the game on normal. Collect everything to achieve completionist. Do all activities like quests, spirit trials, and combat shrines. There's a few achievements tied to certain abilities, so look out for that. I will explain more when it comes up. Step 2. Speedrun the game to achieve a time lower than 4 hours. You have to beat the game in under 4 hours, which is not too hard, but pretty straightforward. Also, achieve no death run, don't touch the poison water, don't equip any shards, or spend any light. Pretty simple, and just certain things really look out for. And last but not least, beat the game on hardcore. Step 3 is probably one of the most straightforward playthroughs we're going to have. Nothing too difficult, it just requires some finesse, so look out for that. And last but not least, I do want to mention that I did run into some technical errors, from me not pushing record button for certain parts, or like my computer freezing while recording and not being able to save the footage. Just things that really boggle my mind, and now I have to deal with in post editing, which is just fantastic. But other than that, we are ready to get on our way to completing Ori and the Will of the Wisps 100% and collect all achievements. So sit back and relax and enjoy the video. Our story begins with Ori and his family are raising a little owl named Ku. Ku grows up and realizes her wing isn't right, so Ori gives Ku a feather that belonged to her mother, and which allows her to fly. Ori and Ku take off for a flight, flying around, hanging out with some other birds. However, a storm hits, knocking Ori off of Ku, separating them, and stranding them in New Forest. The adventure begins, and the achievements are ready to pop. After bumbling around, grabbing a torch, smacking some walls, and beating the living crap out of enemies, making them just beg for mercy, we help out the Will G talk. He tells us he needs help, which we do. Then I headed back up to a wolf named Hal. Hal is so obsessed with me that I had to beat him off with the stick, and he didn't like it very much, so he took off, which granted me my very first achievement, which is incredible. But let's not stop here, let's keep moving forward. Fighting my way through the map, I couldn't help but smack the cheese out of these enemies, which indirectly made them fall into poisonous water or hit some thorny spikes, by which granted me the achievement, did I do that? After traveling around and lacking oxygen to my frontal lobe, I finally found where I needed to go. I ran into a boss fight and I was just ready. Bring it in. Bring it, I got that right hook, I got that righty. I never thought I could get an achievement by smacking butt. I literally mean smacking butt. Just look at that big, bright, oh my god. So I did the logical thing, I asked for consent, and I began the work. I was scared, but in the end of endlessly smacking that bright, shiny orb, I beat the horn beetle, unlocking a new achievement. I'm not sure about you guys, but I can't juggle to save my life, and this game requires me to juggle 5 projectiles to unlock an achievement, which is pretty bad. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do this one, but luckily I persevered, and I was able to juggle 5 projectiles at one time without touching the ground, which is kind of fantastic. I mean, I don't think I have to juggle 5, I just have to keep not touch the ground while using projectiles to keep myself bolstered in the air. So yeah, so not too bad. I unlocked the achievement and it popped, called Juggling Act. I ran into the Guardian of the Marsh, a giant frog named Kolok, who coaches me into helping the forest. Like why? I'm trying to get my homie Ku, but I guess his goal is to bend me over and rub me into the ground. And you know what? The audacity to give me a giant ball of light, a wisp as a companion. Why not just give me a rock at least? With that, I can use it for useful things. However, the big frog points me in the direction, and lacking some brain cells, I finally get past a destructible wall using a projectile, and the achievement pops, discovering the Wellspring Glades. I come across a lot of enemies in Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and I can tell you for sure right now, the bugs are terrible. The flies are just awful. They're a thorn in my backside, and I just can't handle it. I have to punch myself in the crotch to feel any sort of relief from these things. And so in a certain section in the Willow Spring, I come across some flies and these won't leave me alone. So I end up using Spike and an upgrade for Spike called Explosive Spike, which is pretty much what it is. And I throw it, I yeet it at them, and guess what? They explode, they die, and I get an achievement pops called Damage Spike for killing 5 enemies with 1 spike. But you think me saying Spike's gonna stop there? No, because not even a minute after of killing those flies, I die. And I get sent back to a certain part of the game, which I have to go through the same section again with more flies. I was so upset, so mad. I was fuming. And you know what I did? I did the same exact thing. I threw that spike so hard, and I don't know what happened. It popped another achievement called Bring It On, which is awesome. I was riding high. I was collecting a bunch of achievements. I was feeling really good. I was in the Willow Spring, grabbing a bunch of different collectibles, completing a bunch of different things. And I said, hey, why not? Let's get to the end. Let's clean up this water, right? Let's give this poisonous water. And next thing I know, I'm getting treated like a piece of meat by a tentacle monster. And I was not having it. I died so many times. It's a whole run sequence, and it just sucked. After a small but semi-long run sequence, because I'm bad at it, I hop off the cliff thinking that was it for me. But I wake up to the death of the tentacle monster and an achievement pop clearing the Wisps. I'm not sure about y'all, but Will the Wisp sometimes just makes me want to yeet my controller across the room and light it on fire with a flamethrower. It's just a cycle of monotonous running sequences and it just drives me crazy. The next running sequence is a Shriek, a pain in the ass owl who just doesn't want to leave me alone. He's just jealous and he just can't handle that he can share me with another Wisp, alright? It's just annoying as hell. So after dying a few times running down this goddamn hill, I finally beat the sequence and I get the next achievement, Icy Escape. Okay. I was riding high, feeling the rays of success wash over my light blue body, but when I'm feeling good, that's when the banana hits the fan. I find the dirty cavern called the Moldy Wood Depths. I tell you, it's every person's worst nightmare. It was a dirty ass mine. I don't care what y'all say, when I get past this dark, dirty cavern, the most terrifying thing came in my view. A goddamn spider pops in and just scares the dickens at me. I don't know. Let me tell you something. If you can prepare for this fight Mora, that big ass spider, yeah, she definitely needs you. However, after a quick pounding and a water break to rehydrate, I beat Mora, getting the achievement Dark Triumph. Before leaving Moldy Wood, I ended up seeing that there was a combat shrine left on the map, and I decided to go do it, which is actually perfect because there's 2 achievements tied to finishing the combat shrine. So combat shrines are basically what they are. You fight away with enemies, I think 3 ways or 4 ways, I think. And after doing that, completing that, a shard will pop up, a shard slot will pop up, which you can grab, which is super helpful because you can equip more shards. So when I finished this combat shrine, I was able to get the achievement fully slotted, and another achievement for beating all the combat shrines called Shine Bright. After beating Moldy Woods, I make my way past, exploring around, and I've ended up finding myself in Luma Pools. Luma Pools is like the aqua section of the game, and it was just like really cool. I really like it. And I ended up finding out that Kowak, the guardian of the marsh, that giant frog that sent us to our death, has gone missing, has gone deep into Luma Pools, and we must go find him. So after a few brief instances of finding different things, finding enemies, we come across Kowak, and he is seduced by the guardian, the Wisp, and it is nuts, because this dude's like eyeballing the shit out of him. He is eye fucking him hard. I don't know what's going on. But next thing I know, he swallows the giant wisp, and the tentacle monster takes advantage of him, which is kind of unsettling. So, after a brief fighting sequence, we take on Kowak, and we defeat him. And the great thing is that we actually get 2 achievements. One, we get for defeating him in under 2 minutes, I think it was, and it is called Timely Demise. And the second one was called Guardian's Rest, for defeating Kowak, which is kind of depressing because he does die, and so we basically just murdered the one thing that was actually helping the forest, which is pretty sad. Getting past our murdering of the Guardian of the Marsh, we end up finding all the collectible shards in the game. Shards are used for buffs, for buff damages, but better health, health regeneration, mana generation, and a lot of cool different things, which I really like about shards, which is actually pretty cool. They really useful, make things very versatile in the game, in which we get the achievement called Shard Hunter. Not long after, I did a little bit of grinding to get more spirit light because I was super lazy and didn't grab any of the spirit orbs around the little pools or around the map, which will come back to haunt me. I grind and I ended up going to the shard guy, whoever his name is, and I ended up upgrading every single shard in my arsenal. That's pretty much every single shard I have. That's every single shard in the game, and the achievement pod is called Shard Specialist. Not soon after upgrading all my shards, I ended up going to the Weapon Master. He offered me all the upgrades for my abilities, in which I decided to say, yeah, why not? So I buy all of them, and achievement pop is called Mad Skills. After upgrading all my stuff, I decided to head down to the ruins, in which I opened the giant door with the 5 wisps I have. I make my way all the way down and past an art that depicts all these people dying. It's super sad and depressing. If you guys want to watch it, I don't recommend it. It's sad. I know it's just art, but it's so depressing. So I make my way to the end. I end up finding the last wisp that combines all of them together, making one giant wisp. But then, next thing I know, a giant tapeworm comes out of nowhere and tries to swallow me whole, which it does a couple times because I'm really bad at running sequences. Which I run, I get away from it, and I get the achievement Quicksand, which is great. But this section sucked because I'm really bad at running sequences and I can't think on the top of my feet. Before moving forward, I do want to mention that throughout the game I have been collecting certain items. It's called the trade sequence. It's a callback to Legend of Zelda. Not sure if you guys have played Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which has a really lengthy chase sequence, which is really cool, which I liked a lot. So after I take the last item, the stone tablet, and I place it, in which unlocks the achievement Mark of a Trader. And it gives me access to everything on the map, all the collectibles, everything. But at this point, everything that's left is just mostly light orbs, which suck. Throughout the playthrough, I have found the one thing that truly annoys me about this collecting, hunting, this shenanigan thing. It's the speed trial. The speed trials just make me want to snap my controller in half, eat it out the wall, and just burn my house down. Because for the love of Grayskull, I can't handle them. I was stuck on one for so many hours that I wanted to just give up at that point. I just couldn't get past it. But with sheer perseverance and just hope, I beat the trial and I get past it, and it felt so great. And the achievement pops called Speed Demon, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not feel like a speed demon. Getting past the whole sequence of speed trials and all that stuff, I finally unlocked all abilities. The abilities I'm talking about are like Bash, Spirit Arc, or Launch, and stuff like that, and so forth. These abilities allow us to traverse and do a couple different things, like Damage Spike, which is super helpful, as you saw at the beginning of the video. But throughout, it's fun, they're cool, I love them. However, there's one that just drives me out the wall. It's a chime puzzle. It's locked behind these little chimes you have to do in order to get past this wall to get the ability. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I hated it because I was stuck there for almost an hour and a half trying to figure out what it meant, like what how to do, how to chime it. I was so close. Like I got this door unlocked that lets me go down to these depths, but I couldn't unlock the other one, so I just lost. I was losing my mind until finally I came back. I grabbed the controller, I looked at it some more, and then finally the thing opened. I did it, and the doors opened. And I got the ability, which is fantastic. But the abilities are super awesome and super useful. It's kind of interesting though, is that there's one ability that's in the Wellspring Glades, but it does not count towards the completion of the abilities, which is super weird, and I don't know why they did that, but it is what it is, I guess. Like, I guess they didn't want to make you do all the extra content inside the Wellsprings Glades, but hey, that's just me, in which it doesn't matter. So after I got the last ability called Launch, I unlocked the achievement Tools of the Trade, and I was feeling really good at this point. I was in game mode right now. I was coming to the end of the first playthrough. I was feeling so glad and couldn't wait to get it over with. This next achievement is pretty straightforward, nothing too hard about it. It's just finding every single map and buying them. A cartographer sells them. His name is Lupo. He's found in almost every single section of the map except Silent Woods. Lupo will give you a quest to map out the entire section of the Silent Woods, in which in turn he'll, I think, give you maps that you can buy to find like the health upgrades and like the power upgrades and the mana upgrades and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And it was super simple, and I really liked how straightforward it was and really easy to get. So I got the last map and unlocked the achievement, Cartographer's Protege. Other than the maps, I found that finding healing items was really hard. They're called life cells. The life cells upgrade your health. They allow you to actually hold more health, which is pretty cool, but there's only 20 of them, but they felt like there was 100 of them. I don't know why. I was low-key freaking out because every time I went through a section of the game, I feel like I was missing something, like missing a lot. And these little things drove me up the wall. I couldn't tell you how much I was just struggling. However, I find the last one and an achievement pops called Healthy, and I wasn't feeling so healthy after this. I was like, thank God it's over. So, like I said in the beginning, this was one of the things I struggled, and I got upset because I didn't hit record to get the gameplay up, but I defeated the Willowstone. The Willowstone is basically this little creature, whatever, or being that shoots light out of its body and shoots projectiles, and pretty much uses stone to protect itself, which is pretty interesting. I like that concept and stuff like that. But here's the achievement. I got it. It's called Laser Brain, and it's super simple. The fight's really fun. I like it. It's pretty straightforward, and probably one of the interesting fights I've seen in almost the entire game, rather than Moria or Shriek. Before finishing the last playthrough, I went back to the Western Glades to do a couple things. I decided to fix all the buildings that need to be fixed by giving this ore to a builder who gave me a bunch of different options to fix certain things, like, remove thorns or build houses or repel the willow spring, stuff like that. And then I found a bunch of these mysterious seeds that I would give to the gardener, which I didn't know until actually preparing everything that I gave to him, which in turns he planted them. He grew like vines that allow you to use bash to get around, get around and stuff like that, or he planted trees or shrubbery. And as I mentioned in my abilities achievement, he will give you an ability tree, which isn't needed to unlock the other achievement, which is pretty cool. But it's really cool that you get like a little prize for helping them out and stuff like that, which I also popped 2 achievements. One being called Fixer Upper, like I explained, by fixing the Western Glades, and second being the completionist. That being is to complete every single quest within the game, which I did throughout, and it was really cool, and I'm glad that we're getting to the end of this. So this is the one of the things I talked about with technical issues. The game wasn't registering me getting the last energy cell. The energy cells are the ones that it's like mana, that increase mana and stuff like that. And I had to quit out, but for some reason my capture card wonked out. I don't know what happened, but as you can tell, if you look close enough, the achievement pops called Powerful. I put up on screen here, and it's really easy. It was super annoying, honestly, right next to life cells. I kept thinking I'm missing a bunch of stuff, and it stresses me out. I don't know why collecting stuff stresses me out. I don't know why. Again, before heading to the last fight against Shriek, I ended up collecting all collectibles except one collectible, and that's the light orbs. The light orbs are currency in the game, as I expressed, and I didn't know that they were collectibles. I thought they were just there as currency, because most games don't force you to get the currency in the game to count as collectibles, which I was under the notion that I didn't need them. And long story short, I didn't need them, and so I backtracked the whole sections and maps to get all the light orbs. And then after getting the last last light orb, I ended up unlocking Lost and Found, which means I got all the collectibles and I'm done. And ladies and gentle farts, we are here today. We are at the end of the game of our first playthrough, which is incredible, and I can't believe right here I got to this point, and I'm super glad. There's 2 more playthroughs, which should be really quick, but here we are. We have to fight Shriek. Shriek is a really interesting boss fight. He's not too demanding, but he is super mean with his certain ability to like speed across certain sections of the map and just hit you, and it's super annoying, and I don't know why. For me, he just kept doing it and it kept just murking me. But after a few tries and me constantly screaming at myself, tell me I'm no good, I beat the game. I just defeated Shriek, watched the final ending, which is kind of sad because I don't know, Ori dies pretty much, and which sucks. And the achievement pops stone cold. And before I forget, another achievement unlocked called Destiny, which pretty much means just complete the game. That's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. So now, after finishing the first playthrough, let's head on over to the second one. So, like I said, experiencing technical difficulties, I ended up losing my footage for this speedrun, or majority of the speedrun. My OBS, if you guys don't know, if you record it MP3 or 4, and OBS stops working mid-record, your file is just gone. You can't open it, you can't use it, and it just sucks so much. But it's okay. The achievement I wasn't able to show you guys is called High and Dry. Pretty much it tells you don't touch the poisonous water. However though, there's a caveat. You can touch it, you can fall in it, but you cannot die in it, which is really weird. I don't know why, but you can't like die in it. But you can touch it, but you can't die in it. And so if I was you, if you do fall in it, just be safe. Just do backup save. Backup saves saved my life so many times, and I couldn't do it without backup saves. Like backup saves, if you're a person, I love you, thank you. I believe midway through the speed run, I was getting kind of bored, so I took a break and I decided to do a time trial of a boss fight, Moira, because there's an achievement tied to her. And for Moira, you have to beat her without taking no damage from her. And if any one of you have played Ori and the Will of the Wisps, know that this boss fight going untouched is so difficult. And I'm just so glad that I was playing through the game and got the hang of it. That only took me like maybe 3 or 4 tries to do Moira and do no damage, which is like amazing. To like take no damage, which is amazing. I'm super happy I got past it. And the achievement powers for untouchable. And yeah, I 100% suggest looking up a shard guide for damage, because doing damage to her is so much more important than your health. And using your abilities like Spike or like Fireball, not Fireball, I forgot what it's called, but Spike is like one of the best abilities you can use against her, especially having it upgraded if you can. I know with time trials, I think they give you every single ability unlocked with the upgrades to it, but I can't say the same thing about shards. I'm not entirely sure, but I got the achievement untouchable, and yeah, it's pretty pain in the butt. So after that business from Moira, I went back to the speedrun and I ended up completing it. I finished everything I needed to finish, and I got straight to Shriek and I beat him, but I did die a few times, which does avoid one of the achievements. However though, I backup save. Backup saves are literally your best friend. I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. Backup saves, I love you, always come to me. Please always come to every single game you can, because the Lord have mercy. So after Shriek, I unlocked a laundry list of achievements. So I'm gonna go over them really quick. Shard list, don't equip any shards. Immortal, don't die, at least don't die at all. Look at the time, beat the game under 4 hours, which I did it in about 3 hours, I think. And lastly, light list, don't spend any light orbs. Light orbs are a currency in the game, so don't spend anything. With that, the second playthrough is completed. We are done with it. It feels great. We're on the very last achievement, and that is to beat the game on hardcore. Y'all might sit here and think hardcore sounds difficult. It's hardcore. Every single game that has hardcore is hard, right? Well, you're kind of wrong. So just sit back and just watch. The last playthrough is super simple. I suggest getting a lot of health and a lot of mana. That's all you're gonna need, and a few of the like abilities and stuff like that, like spike and stuff like that, which are super helpful. But other than that, making it to Shriek is probably one of the easiest bosses I've ever played on a hardcore run. However, Shriek was easy. Moria was hard, but Shriek is child's play. Shriek, I beat him, not too difficult. I think I died once compared to my first playthrough, which I died like 10 times to him. Not that many, but a lot of times. But this one, I beat him in one death. And yeah, he was super easy. I just say invest into health and mana and a few abilities and a couple shards. That's pretty much it. Nothing too difficult, nothing too bad. It took me around about 4 to 5 hours, which is perfect, and I'm just super grateful. And so with that, after the credits, the achievement pops, hardcore fan, and we are done with Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Before I let you all go, I want to say thank you for watching this video. It took a long time, and I been wanting to make the video. I've been so busy with school and life and stuff like that I haven't been able to get to it. But I just want to say thank you for watching, and be ready. I am uploading content this year. I'm gonna be doing a lot of stuff. My next video is gonna be coming out soon. Hopefully within March or April. But we will see, and just keep a lookout for that. But thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do everything you want. Just let me know what you guys think of this process and stuff like that. Do I need more detail? Do I need less detail? Just let me know, okay? But with that being said, I hope you all have a good night, and I hope you all have a fantastic life.